Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast. I'm your host, Honky. I'm with Redcast Rob. How you doing, buddy?
Well, this is the first official Redcast show where we are bowl eligible. And to celebrate, I have not drank for almost 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Victory never tasted so good. By the way, this is 477 Peach Barrel Bourbon, and it is fantastic. Oh, so good.
Everything's so good right now. It's amazing what it has taken to get to this point. 7 years of a bowl drought, dating all the way back to 2016 season. We started the Redcast in April of 2017, 4 months after we played Tennessee in the Music City Bowl game. And if you had told us at that moment that it would take until now to get back to a bowl game, I'm not sure what we would have done at that point. But
you probably would have fist fought somebody.
Well, all I know is the long wait is finally over, Husker Nation, Redcast Nation, Redcasters, everyone. You can exhale, you can celebrate.
Hey, Honky, I gotta say something here too.
Yes.
BA Coach's Show, buddy. You know what? I have to tell you that the happiest I am right now is thinking about the fact that you don't have to wander around Lincoln until 2 o'clock in the morning wondering where your life went wrong. Because, buddy, right now, we're bowling, baby.
It is Huskers win today against Wisconsin 44-25. I'm not sure if I have the score right there. Kansas is beating Colorado, or just went live, or just went final, 37-21.
Let's
go. Colorado is lost. Nebraska basketball last night beat Creighton from start to finish. They had the lead the entire game. The Husker women volleyball tonight, they are hosting Wisconsin. Huge rivals there. This could be the best weekend of Husker athletics that we've had in a long, long, long time. And Redcasters, all I can say is just sit back, enjoy it, enjoy the night. Send us your comments, send us your thoughts. I mean, we want to hear them, we want to see it. There is a long built up, like when the students storm the field there. Good on you. You deserve it. You've earned it. Husker Nation, everyone's earned this.
Look who's happy.
Marty's happy. Yes,
we love you, Mom.
She is happy as well. I mean, everyone. This has been a long time coming here. I feel good for Coach Rule and the staff. I feel good for the players. They've gone through a lot to get to this point. And now, the best thing I can say is enjoy this evening, enjoy everything about it. And then there's another game. There's one more still to be played here before get to the bowl game. And so build that momentum. But I don't think you can start any of the discussion without talking about Dana Holgorsen, the offensive coordinator that Rule brought on 2 weeks ago, a very bold move. And the immediate difference that we are seeing there in the offense. And Rob, talk about what your thoughts are specifically. Let's stay offense right now with Coach Holgorsen. What you're seeing?
Well, what I'm seeing is a confidence in the offense that we haven't seen all season. I mean, we obviously had a huge point production for the entire game. We had 24 points at half. We had another 20 points in the second half, which is something that we hadn't seen that kind of balance from the offense all season long. And I'll be honest with you, watching the offense, I just had doubts in my mind the entire game. I didn't care. Every time we scored a touchdown, I just kept thinking in my head, how are we going to screw this up? How are we going to screw this up? If this is the game, is this the one where everything just kind of starts to turn around for us? Because if it is, we are going to be loving some Husker football for the next few years, and it is absolutely amazing to me. We won the time of possession, 33 minutes and 5 seconds to 26 minutes and 55 seconds. We had 29 first downs, 15 passing, 10 rushing. 4 of them were from penalties. By the way, thank you, Wisconsin, for shooting yourself in the foot there in the fourth quarter. We were 4 for 9 on third down. That's fine. I mean, total yards, 473 yards on 74 plays with an average of 6.4 yards per play. Raiola got 7 yards away from having his first 300-yard passing game, which is crazy. 28 for 38 on passing, 7.7 yards per pass play. But most importantly, Conky, and this is going to make you smile, we had 180 yards rushing. 180 yards rushing. And one of the coolest things for me about all of that too was that Emmett Johnson absolutely just killed it today. I believe he had over 100 yards rushing. I think he had like 85 yards, maybe more of
reception. Yeah, he had 85 plus.
Yeah, so
he had 198 total yards.
He accounted for almost half of our offense today. And, it's absolutely amazing what happens when you find a guy, you dedicate yourself to them. And one of the things I would say that Holgorsen has proven to me is that he found his dogs and he stepped with them and he kept feeding them meat, he kept feeding them bones, and he just allowed them to control the offense. And then you saw guys like Dowdell come in on goal line situations or in short yardage situations and just barrel over guys, but he stuck with EJ the entire game. And that's what happens when you actually give yourself a bell cow. So, Mr. BA, how are you today, my friend?
What's going on, boys?
I had to invite you, man. I've been thinking about you since this win, so I had to throw you the stream because all I could do was think about you wandering the streets of Lincoln sad. So I can't have that anymore. How are you tonight, man? What are your thoughts?
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good. I even threw on the game-worn gloves I got. I got the headband on. We're feeling really good today, boys. We're feeling really good.
That's fantastic. Is that hat turned inside out, or is that just me?
No. I kind of want to show off the headband. So yeah,
that's good. So Honky was just asking me about the offense, and what are your thoughts? What did you see there? I mean, you're a coach. I really respect your opinion, your breakdowns of the game. So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us what you saw that was different today.
The biggest thing that I see is just how comfortable Dylan looks in this offense. And I'd have to go back and really rewatch it all. But I feel really good about the fact that it's crazy to me how putting an emphasis on footwork, eyes, and then making the reads super easy for him, which is kind of Air Raid 101, is making those reads super simple on the quarterback. It's crazy how big those few things just make the biggest difference in the world with this offense. It's kind of been crazy to me. That was the biggest thing that I saw for him, is just having Dylan be so comfortable in this offense is, I think, the biggest game changer for us.
It was kind of fun watching the game, mostly from the perspective that even the announcers were talking about how, he was making all of the reads and then throwing those checkdowns right today, which he's something he's been trying to do all season, but it was simplified. I think it was 1 or 2 looks check down, 1 or 2 looks check down, where before it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 5, 9. Okay. And then, ended up having to just get rid of the ball. So it was a lot quicker out of his hands today. It was a lot faster in the decision making. And that's definitely something that Holgorsen, I think, has been working with him for the last 3 weeks on. So, for me, it was fantastic just to kind of see everything, even though I didn't want to believe it with my own eyes the whole time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was there and it was controlled. On the radio coming home, because I actually went golfing this morning with some buddies, and then during the first quarter I was driving home, they said it was an interception, but I guess it was a catch and then a fumble on the one turnover that we had today. But we won the turnover battle, which is always key.
Yes.
Our defense stopped them and made them rely on something they didn't have, which was their kicking game. Honky, man. Why am I hosting this? You are the football mind of the Redcast. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm looking at stats here. So Raiola's 28 of 38 for 293, had touchdown interception, or had one touchdown, 0 interceptions. We had 5 different guys rushing the ball there. And I guess what I'll say is a key to this stat is not seeing Dylan's name on this list. And it's in one of two different things here. I want the QB spot to be able to show some mobility. I've said that all offseason. You'll see Harburg actually getting 6 carries here. So they did that first drive. Harburg scores the first touchdown. They did throw some of the QB run game in. They just didn't do it with Dylan. But more importantly, not seeing Dylan's name on this rushing list means he didn't get sacked. And that goes back to getting rid of the ball quickly here, 28 to 38 for completions. He's not getting the ball, or he's not holding on the ball long. There were times he got some pressure, but it just seems like he's seeing things quicker, or they're calling things quicker, or whatever the simplification process is, it's working there for him right now. We're in the rush game. Emmett had 16 carries, 113 yards, 7 yards a carry. Dowdell had 10 carries, 41 yards, 4.1 yards a carry. He also had 3 touchdowns that go along with it. And then Harburg had 6 for 18 with the 1 touchdown. That first drive, we posted a tweet right afterwards, and it basically said, that was a fun drive to watch. It's one of the best ones I've seen us do coming out. And what you saw some 2-back, and that's something that we've called for quite a while. Give them something different to see. And they did some 2-back, and they did a lot of different things out of that 2-back. It does help to kind of align the defense. It helps to have it be a balanced defense when you have a back on each side of the quarterback there. Fairly basic move, but something that could have been done at any point this year. And then on top of that, Emmett, geez, I mean, it's like being a broken record here, but Emmett, we have a bell cow. I'll say 16 carries is too little for him right now, to be honest with you. But we have a bell cow for at least the last couple games here. Let's keep feeding him. And that's the big thing there. I mean, it's everything just looks a little quicker right now. Everything looks smoother. And I'm also completely fine with saying I realize who we just played. This was not a great Wisconsin team. This is a team that's struggling. They just lost their best offense and defensive guy, injury in the last week. And I don't care. We've played a lot of teams that weren't very good in the last 6 or 7 years, and we have always found ways to lose to them. So none of that means a darn thing to me. We've lost to these guys 10 straight times. What a huge, momentous victory to end a 10-game losing streak to this team, to end a 7-year bowl drought to this team. I'll take it. There's no apologies. Every single Husker fan out there, whether you're a student right now, you're a player, you're a coach, anyone in Husker Nation, enjoy this evening. Go out, shoot some fireworks off, and have a good time.
Yeah. Don't burn any couches, though. Don't go out there and flip over anything. Don't riot in the Haymarket. Be responsible, drink responsible, call an Uber, call a Lyft, call your mom to pick you up. Walk around with BA coach out there, just be safe tonight. I think that's the number one thing I want to tell people.
I want to talk. Let's go receiving here. I know. Be safe.
Receiving. Are we moving on?
Well, look at this here. We've got Barney with 9 catches for 85 yards. True freshman. How important is it to get this guy back next year? Okay, 9 catches, 85 yards, 9.4 yards a carry. Or catch. Emmett Johnson, 6 catches, 85 yards, 14.2 yards a carry. Someone coming back next year. Okay. Banks and Nair, 2 of the next guys down there with 4 catches each. These are the seniors. They're leaving. They've been improved in the last couple weeks. I will give them that. But man, they dropped touchdown passes today.
Yeah.
Both of them did. These are your senior receivers. That's the stuff. You cannot have that happen, especially we're going to be playing Iowa here. And every point counts against Iowa. And every time you're getting 3 instead of 7. But my goodness, even with that, how about Hole, the kicker here? And I'll go to you, BA. All of a sudden it feels like in the last 3 or 4 weeks we've got a field goal game that can be consistent. I think you can actually count on it. I didn't think that was going to be possible this year. So that's a hell of a something to come about with this team.
I was right there with you. I remember at one point in the year, kind of halfway jokingly tweeting out, and I said it on my show too, like, I don't know if I want to see a field goal kicker the rest of the year. And yes, I was halfway joking, but like at the same time, it was only a half joke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we were at a point this year where I didn't know if we'd ever get 3 points back up on the board again. And here we are. That was his turnaround the last, little bit has been really cool to see. I'm glad to see that we were able to get those 3 field goals today. That was really good to see because those are important in Big Ten football. Like that's super important to be able to do. And that's something that we're going to have long term.
And we saw that the Wisconsin kicker missed 2 of those early. Hole here is 3 for 3. He was 100%. He had a long of 45 yards. He scored with the extra points, 14 points today. So we win 44-25. 14 of those points came from the kicking game. And then punting, Brian Brashini also, while we're on that, 2 punts for 101 yards, 50.5 yards a kick, one of them going out the 3-yard line. That's winning football there when you can put teams in bad position, starting at, within their 4 or their 5 or their 10-yard line. You're making them go the long field. That's a
hey,
God dang, that's a good development there to have.
So quick update, side note, non-Husker related, with Colorado losing today and BYU just lost to Arizona State. Arizona State and BYU would now be in the championship game for the Big 12.
Wow.
And and that makes Travis Hunter posing for the Heisman in the end zone after right before losing, the game is I think is a perfect summarization of Colorado football right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I had to take a dig at CU. That's crazy.
So we had 473 to 407 for total yards. Passing yards, we beat Wisconsin by 1. We had 293 to 292. Rushing yards, we had the 180. They had 115. Yards per play, Wisconsin actually looks like they had us by 1 yard. They had us at 7.4 yards a play to our 6.4. It's BA. What do you think? The defensively, it seems like the last couple weeks, I don't know if it's a regression, but teams have had more success sustaining some drives on us, completing the deep ball they had there at the end of the game. The defense seems like it's just kind of lost a step. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
from the beginning of the season to where we are now. I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and this doesn't necessarily talk about the pass plays, but just in general, I feel like the tackling has regressed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're not a great tackling team right now, and that's something that when we have looked at the Nebraska last year, what did we say? Hey, this is good defense, and I think a lot of that was because they tackled well, and I think certain games this year they tackled really well, and that really to me sets the tone for a lot of things. But on the back end, it just seems like we don't have a ton of great communication on that back end with just some wide open receivers. And I feel like sometimes I feel like that schematic, I have a hard time wrapping my head around sometimes when we just have our corners play 10 to 12 yards off on, if it's 2nd and 12 and we're standing at the sticks and then we pretty much just handed them a 3rd and manageable. That's something I personally don't love. Again, I'm not going to act like I'm smarter than any of those coaches but that's just something I just don't love. You know what I mean? That just gives them a 3rd and short, and it's just something schematically. You're just giving it up when it's 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, and you're literally have your corner playing at the sticks. You're just giving up 8-9 yards right there. Just dump it out to them. So that's something I haven't loved. So yes, and to this comment right here, that they had what looked like, I don't know, if you guys were listening to the game with the commentary, I had muted the game by that point. What it seemed like, they showed a replay of it, and I should have unmuted it. I don't know. It looked like to me that they had Gifford playing like a robber, right there in the middle. And I don't quite understand that with the post going right over. It was just a bad play call, but if he wasn't supposed to be standing there in the middle, he was caught completely flat-footed. He was. So that's why I think he was so flat-footed. I feel like it was a play call, if that makes sense, because he was standing so flat-footed.
It looked like he was supposed to be spying on the play action there to see if and if the guy had actually tried to run, that he would move up. I think that it looked like man-to-man. I might be off on that, but it looked like it was man-to-man coverage, and our guys just got beat. Yeah. I mean, and I think maybe one of them misunderstood the assignment and realized that maybe Luke wasn't going to be dropping back, right? That it was going to be man to man. I don't
That's
know.
the reference there's with the safety. Yeah, I mean, he had the corner on him,
Yeah.
but the safety letting someone behind there on that. But
Yeah.
you know, this is it changes a lot here. I felt coming into this week, and I've talked to quite a few people over the course of it. I really felt that the longer you go without winning that bowl game, it just keeps adding pressure and pressure and pressure, or getting to the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt that we were either going to win our last two games or we are going to lose the last two games. I couldn't imagine. And look, Iowa's going to be a tough team, so I'm not trying to just say that's going to be a cakewalk and going to go through them.
Hey, they both faced Northwestern today.
No, they played Maryland. But
even same difference.
Yeah, I think the thing is with we had to get past this point. There was a mental block. There is something about just getting that sixth win, and we had lost 9 straight games when bowl eligibility was on the line over the course of multiple seasons. So I get it. And then we just had to get this one done. Now that it's out of the way, it's one you can just hopefully just go play free. The other thing is we're starting to see the offense, click. We're going to have to play outstanding defense against Johnson. Their running back. I mean, this dude, he's probably the best running back, certainly in the conference and maybe in the country. And we're going to have to be really physical at the point of at the line. And I think I asked the question, and I don't think I saw him out today. Van Poppel having a 4th game available still under his red shirt. Having Van Poppel next week will be helpful because Iowa's down to their 4th-string quarterback. Their team, they're going to want to run the football on us, and we're going to want to have as many bodies, almost kind of what we did, I think, against Rutgers at times where we put 3 linemen on the field at one time. It's going to be pound versus pound on the line, and we're going to have to be able to tackle well. BA, to your point, also, we're going to have to tackle well, and we're going to have some bodies up there against Iowa next week. And so getting Van Poppel added to the depth is going to be huge.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree. I think it was probably a good move not to use. I was wondering if we would see him today.
I was too. Yep.
Honestly, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, we didn't need him today. But I do think it was probably the right call because I think, we're definitely going to need him next week up front. And but like you said, and kind of we got to be able to tackle. The biggest thing I think defensively against Iowa is we got to be able to tackle well. And like you said, control the line of scrimmage. That's going to be – I know every team says that's going to be the key to every single game. That's just what key to every game, control the line of scrimmage. But I think it's more like this is the game. It's like, no, this is where you have to win. If you're going to win this game, you have to win it at the line of scrimmage. So I think against Iowa, that's going to just be the biggest thing. If we can do that, I feel really good about our chances. I'm not BSing you guys here at all. I was kind of like you guys. We're either going to win the last 2 or lose the last 2. That's really how I felt. And I feel good getting this, pressure off, go out there and play loose and control the line. We can control that line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively, I feel very good about our chances next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Iowa's offense, I hate to hurry be just kind of the nature of Husker fans here, at least the way that we're rolling here. I mean, this is a great win tonight. I expected us to beat Wisconsin, but I also expected us to beat a couple other teams that we didn't, right?
Right.
So Wisconsin was coming in here with all kinds of issues. This was not, but again, none of that is to take away anything that this team did today. This team did what it was supposed to do, but moving forward to Iowa, and when I look at what Iowa's a struggling team right now too. I mean, they're 7-4. But this is a team that, they're well below what their expectations for the season were. They've had multiple injuries at the quarterback spot to the point where now they're at their 4th-string QB. And it is a game. This is like the most Big Ten-ish kind of Big Ten game you're going to play a week from now. And it would only be apropos if it was snowing in Iowa City. I have no idea what the forecast will be. But it would only be appropriate because I think that this game is going to be all about in the trenches and being physical and tackling and running the ball and all of that. And so to be able to get this win out of the way, to be 6 games, we know we're going to a bowl game now. We know we're going to get 15 more practices. How beneficial is that with the new offensive coordinator who hopefully will be our offensive coordinator next season. I mean, what a great head start going into that offseason.
Yeah. It's been an interesting 3 weeks. I believe that it's been an absolute emotional roller coaster, I think, for every single one of us, which is
everyone.
And I just want to let Racecasters know that I've known Honky here now for quite a few years. I guess I don't even know how long it's been, Honky, but it's funny to watch him not only just like throughout the week when like news comes out about the Huskers or anything. I mean, just getting to this bowl game, I really hope that like, this is almost like therapy for him, because it's an emotional roller coaster from like whether it's Husker news to like from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. We force Wisconsin to a 3-and-out on their first drive. We go down, we score a touchdown. Honky's like, basically, let's go. This is it. Next time we get the ball, he's just like, well, God.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. And, it feels really good. And I know that anybody outside of Husker Nation is probably making fun of us for celebrating making a bowl game like we just won the Super Bowl. But quite frankly, none of my teams have won the Super Bowl since I was like 10 years old. So as far as I'm concerned, this is like a Super Bowl right now for me. This is absolutely amazing.
No, I get that. I have a couple group chats of non-Husker fans that are definitely making fun of me, and I'm unapologetic about it. I do not care. I will celebrate this one all week. I'm not apologetic about being happy about a 6th win. I don't care.
Hey, Ellie, do you have something you want to tell Redcast? Do you want to say anything? No, not at all. Not even a Go Big Red.
Go Big Red!
There you go.
There you go. So it's kind of cool because she's 8, she's almost 9, and she started watching Husker sports with me, and it's kind of cool. She'll like sit down, and so the volleyball game's on tonight. I'm sure that we'll all watch that together. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is really cool.
You go back into the off season, you go back to the preseason, and people have expectations, and let's just get to a bowl game. Some people would say, or let's get 6 and win 6, win 7, whatever. If you're thinking 10-2 or 11-1, then you're Kool-Aid drinking and all that.
Hey.
At the end of the day, whatever. I mean, this is the reality of what seasons happen. Expectations change as years go along. So when you're going 3-0, or if you're going 5-1 and you're getting ranked, then your expectations start to change. And all of a sudden, maybe you thought we were going to go 10-2 and we were sitting at 5-1. Whatever it was, whatever your own personal journey is that you went through as a Husker fan, the main goal of the season certainly was to get to this bowl game. And Coach Rule has said that from the beginning. And so from that perspective, just getting that monkey off the back, that is how big today was. So it's 6 wins. Look, if it's your Super Bowl, Rob, that's awesome. I'm the guy that goes back to 1983 watching football games, so I'm still expecting. 9 wins is still a standard of mine that I want for Nebraska.
Hey, for the record, in 1983, that's a great year to choose because that's the last time my football team won a Super Bowl, Honky.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is there's a standard that I want for Nebraska to have, and it's not that the expectation I have for this season, but it's where Nebraska needs to get back to, but it had to start somewhere. It had to start somewhere. I would have loved this to be the discussion we had a year ago. How great would a bowl game in year 1 of Rule have been? Didn't happen. And so now it happens now, but you build off of this. So now that's why that's honestly as excited and as happy as I am, or as relieved as I am for people for tonight, I'm already looking ahead to next week. I by nature I am, because now it's time to take down that next team. That's been a major problem for us.
Was it Osborne who said, by the time I'm in the tunnel, I'm already thinking about next week? Was that
sure?
Him who
Yeah.
said that?
Yeah. I mean, you can set.
I'm not in the tunnel yet, Honky. Just give it to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I text with you guys back and forth during the game, but at the end of the day, I wasn't that emotional during this football game. I haven't been the last few weeks. It's just watching it and just trying to. I've been studying it more than I am watching it right now, or cheering it. Because I've seen you get up and high, and then we make some mistake, and then we lose the game. I mean, even the extent of that deep ball at the end that they had, and gets down to 12 points, and people, you see it. You see it on social media. You see it on the text chain you have. People are already starting to go, oh, gosh.
I did see that. But I'll be like, I tend to sometimes get on this little bit of an emotional roller coaster. That one didn't bother me at all. I was like, we're good. I don't care. We're good. I feel good about it. I do kind of, this is just a random sidebar question I was thinking about, like during the middle of the game. Like, how
can we stop getting followers real quick? We're at 311 followers. 311.
Keep going, BA.
Go. Sorry.
Like, to me, it's just so crazy how, like, a different voice changed this offense, like, almost completely. I know last week the results didn't, like, if you just look at the box score necessarily, but if you, like, actually watch the games and just halfway have an understanding what you're looking at, you could see, like, hey, this offense looks a little bit different. Like, it's the same basis things, but, like, to me, it's just crazy, and I love to hear, like, some of your guys, it's also like just how crazy this just one change in the coaching staff made. You know, like that's the part that kind of, I don't want to say blows my mind because like I understand it, but it's also like this is literally a whole different team right now. Like I just can't, because I don't know. I'm not the biggest like Satterfield guy, but also like I don't think he was that bad to where like this is a completely different team. I don't know. I'm just kind of stuck on how this changed so much.
I think one of the things is and Rule talked about it, that Satterfield says a lot of the same things to the team that Holgorsen is, right? It's most of the same play calls or the same terminology. It's a lot of the same things in the offense right now. It's not like we're doing full air raid and he's brought in all these new concepts. He might call things a little differently, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of the same stuff. So why is it so much better? For one, I think there is something to do with having a spark. Sometimes just creating a spark, when you're in neutral, and Dave and I did a show on the Monday that they hired, announced Holgorsen. We talked at that time about like this offense is just in neutral and just not doing anything wasn't an option. You had to do something. And also for the fans that sometimes we get so frustrated during the season that we jump to the offseason already. We need to we start jumping to the offseason. When do we need to fire guys? We need to fire this guy and fire this guy and fire that guy. We may need to, but that's at a different time. Right now, the season's still going on, and every week matters. Every win matters. Every opportunity to get to a bowl and get more practices, everything matters. So at no point, at no point was I ever giving up on this season because there was an opportunity to go and see something we haven't seen yet. There still is against Iowa. We heard all week about maybe a Quinn Clark or somebody else. Imagine somebody stepping up, one more guy, and then you have 15 more practices with that guy, and you build off of that into the bowl game, and then that's what you take into the offseason. That's what we haven't had for 7 years, because when the season ends on Black Friday, it's just done, and you have this void for a couple months. I want to keep seeing development. I want to see Van Poppel come out there next week and have a sack and 3 big tackles, right? Keep seeing things from guys that we haven't seen. We've, Barney out there today, he had another great game there. And that's a young guy that's going to be, a major player for us next season. We're seeing Dylan get some confidence. That's important. All those things are really important. And it's why, it's that spark. And I think, It is 100% within any Husker fans' reasoning. They should be able to ask, why did it take this long? In some cases,
I hear you on that. I hear you.
It's I'm not going to tell you not to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt the whole season that we had better talent, especially on the offense, than what we were seeing play out. And so, or I just hear, well, we can't run the ball. We can't run the ball. We can't run the ball. That's all I'm hearing. And I mean, Mac and I would do, for the first 6 weeks, we were doing film sessions every week. And I'm showing you plays where we're running the football. We're 5-1. And I'm telling you, at that time, you can go back. I mean, that's the beauty of podcasts. We put it out there. It's out there forever. I've said a lot of things that are wrong over the years. Go back and watch our mid-season review and watch how we break down film when we're 5-1. And I remember at one point saying, if we do the same things that we're doing at this point, we're not going to be 10-2. We're not going to just go 5-1 the second half of the season again. You know, we've got to find ways to either get rid of the ball quickly, or the quarterback's got to be more mobile there, or there were a number of things but we had to be able to stick to the run and commit to it. And I felt it's crazy that we've gotten Holgerson in here to do it, but I'm feeling like I saw more commitment to it today.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's just been the part that seems. There we go. Hello,
I'm interrupting.
Abby.
Hi.
It's a great day.
Abby. Hi, Abby.
Abby, GBR.
We're here, baby.
GBR.
Only for a little bit till the volleyball game starts, but
Yeah, we got about 25 minutes.
It's 7:00, 25 minutes. That's perfect.
No, Honky, it's 6:00.
Well, your time. 7:00 Central.
It's God's time.
What a weekend.
God's time.
What a
I
weekend.
know.
Starting last night,
So,
Nebraska Creighton. Huge.
oh man, we haven't even talked about basketball. That's how big this win is.
No,
I mean,
this is good.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So for the record, I think, and I hate saying this, but I think Dirk actually said something that I've agreed with him more. And I think it was Dirk that basically said that win last night didn't feel like an upset. It didn't feel like, a crazy game. It felt like we went out there and owned the game from the beginning till the end.
Yeah.
I've never seen a basketball game like that. It's kind of crazy, quite frankly.
Well, for a Nebraska game to be, to not have a deficit for 1 second against Creighton is.
I'm going to go off the rails. I know last year's team made the NCAA tournament, but just watching this team in the first, whatever it is, 5-6 games that this team is playing, I'm going to say this team is better. It's obviously deeper. They go 10 deep here, but I think this team is better from like just an overall defensive and just like playing the system that Hoiberg wants to play. I wish Dave was here because Dave could dive more into that because he knows Hoiberg's system really, really well. But it's just to me, it's just a much better, basically offense created from the defense type of team than what we had last year, where we were depending on, Casey to maybe come through for us with some big shots at the end and things like that. So, hey, Dustin, how are you?
That's Alf.
This is
No,
awesome.
Dustin.
Oh, is it
here.
Alf?
He's watching.
Oh, because
he's got Purdue USC volleyball on. Aww.
This is great. Redcast Dave comments and he goes, the data tells us SAT doesn't coordinate offense as well. Google it. Nice little play on the Google there, Dave.
Say, good. Okay, I know this is not related to Nebraska, so just give me a second. But as we were watching the game, because we have a watch site, as we were watching, Dustin's just like, look at this Ohio State troll. Look at this Ohio State tweet. Look at all these tweets Ohio State, the official account, are putting out about Indiana. And it's just like, I love when the official accounts get to be trolly. Like the basketball accounts last night.
That was epic. That was awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
I can't
see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, that was
hey, great game.
I
See
love
you tomorrow.
that stuff so much.
I'm so happy we get to do that. That's kind of related that we now get to finally be super trolly. And like, I hope the football one gets to be trolly against Wisconsin. I hope volleyball gets to be trolly again tonight. Like, I love it. It's just
all right. So I've got a question for everyone here, and there's a point to this. If you had to pick one player from the Husker football team today or the Husker basketball team last night, where if you were picking like betting on like a fantasy number or anything like that, who would you guys take as like the player that you were banking on before the game?
Before the game?
Yeah, sure. If you have it.
Juwan Gary.
All right.
Juwan Gary.
Honky?
Yeah, probably Gary.
Okay. What about you, BA? Pick a football player.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gary's a safe choice. So I'll go with Ja'Cory Barney.
Okay, because the Redcast is now proud to be partnering with Underdog Sports, and it's my favorite place to play fantasy games. So you got to check out their Pick'em because it's so easy to play. You just pick like 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether or not they'll go higher or lower than the stats you pick, and you can earn up to 20 times whatever it is money you put in there. And you pick like 5 players, you go 5 for 5, you win up to like 20 times. I think it sounds like fun. So if you sign up with promo code REDCAST, you can claim your free pick plus your first time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So anyway, tweet me out your entries. I can't wait to see them. That's that.
All right.
That's nice. Well done.
That was a very good plug. That was great.
Thank you. It's my first time, and I'm not just saying that.
We have a comment here, Johnny Utah. He says, "What's crazy is the bar is set so low. We stormed the field after getting a 6 win and going to Boise for a bowl game."
No.
Where I would challenge that, Johnny, is that there are different. We can have, as adults, we can have big, boy and girl discussions here about having different expectations. There's an expectation for the program at a program level. I agree. I'm not. When I'm thinking long term and I'm thinking into the future, storming the field to get to 6 wins, that's not in my vocabulary at that point. But right now, for a team that hasn't done it for this long, think about students right now. There are there's 3 or 4 graduating senior classes of students that have never been to one. And
Abby, give me one of these.
Good for them.
And to point this out, not only did we now break our bowl drought, we broke our Wisconsin drought. Like, it's not just the bowl game. Yes, it's the bowl game. And I tweeted out, storm that puppy, because
it's
what we have needed. It's what we've needed. It's what we've asked for. So great. You're right. Like, and I told my dad this on the way home, where I was like, I remember when Kansas stormed the field when they finally beat a P4 team. And it was just like, oh my God, Kansas.
I mean, technically we beat Wisconsin in the COVID year.
Well,
they
that's
forfeited
because they
the
were
game.
scared. But I'm saying, like, but it's not just a bowl game. It's a bowl game after 7 years. It's Wisconsin after 10 years. Like, we broke streaks. So you know what? Celebrate it. Go do it, because you don't know when it's going to happen again. Mm-hmm. And God knows I don't know that there is a fan base in college football that deserved to storm the field for that more than us. And I don't care. I don't care who you are. No fan base has been through this.
Yes.
To this level. So
I 100% completely agree. And to Honky's point, like, when you're talking about like the students there that have not, like, you guys can make fun of me because I'm way younger than you guys. Okay. I was in high school. I was a junior in high school the last time Nebraska made a bowl game. So think about those students that are younger than me. That, like, and like you said, the Wisconsin streak too. Dylan Raiola was like in first, second grade when that happened. Like, this has been there was a lot of things. Today was a big day for the Wisconsin.
I only had 3 kids since the last time Nebraska, made a bowl game.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, we've had a series of statements over the years. We're going to play Iowa in a week. And when we beat Iowa in 2014 and Pelini got fired, our athletic director at that point said he had to identify, how good the opponent was, or, he had to take that into account. Evaluate where Iowa was. And Iowa's turned around and beat us, 8 out of the last 9 times since that statement was made. So we've had an athletic director in 2003 fire a long-time Nebraska coach who's now in the College Football Hall of Fame at a time that we were 9-3 because we don't want to gravitate to mediocrity. And we haven't lost only 3 games in the season since that moment that he said that very thing. So when Coach Rule comes out this year and says how important it is to make a bowl game, what just happened today and why I think it's so apropos and okay. I said apropos twice, and boy, that's weird. But anyways, why it's so
a big boy job now.
But why it's appropriate for them to storm it is that we actually had a very vocal goal stated by somebody within the program, and we hit it. We hit something that we said we were going to do. We've had a lot of statements over where we should be over the years that have blown up in our face, and I wouldn't expect the fan base a year from now if the exact same scenario happened. I wouldn't expect people to be storming the field next year if it took us to now to get to this. But that's how important today is. And then the key is what Coach Rule was brought in here to do is to keep building off of this. It's why I've spent some of the time on this show tonight, instead of just being a rapid reaction to the game that we won against a team that wasn't that good. Why did we focus on Iowa? Because how are we going to build off of this? How are we going to turn this into 7-5? And now you're 7-5, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of people coming into the season that said, "Hey, 7-5." That's probably what they thought, And
that was my prediction, 7-5.
Well, there you go. I mean, we're 1 game away from doing it now. With, as to your point, Abby, ending a whole bunch of streaks in the process.
Yeah,
I mean
I said it. So I said it after the Ohio State game, and ironically, a lot of Wisconsin fans made fun of me for it, but other people too, of like that team that played against Ohio State mostly is a team that could win out. And then,
Yes.
UCLA happened and USC happened. But then you saw this was the first game in my this year that Nebraska played the entire game on all three levels. Offense looked good. I mean, all right, like defense could have looked better. Let's be honest, but
Yeah.
could have looked worse. So I'm going to give them that they played well.
They made stops when they needed to make the stops. And I don't have a problem with that. Was there some plays they gave up where it was like, what the? Yes. But the fact of the matter is they made the stops when they needed to make the stops, especially in the beginning of the game and right before half, where then we got the ball, we scored again, we got that extra field goal. I'm telling you, like, that was the turning point in the game where I was like, we're going to win this game. Like, I don't care if it ends up like 65-58 or something like that. Like, we're going to win this game, because when we stop them at the end of the second quarter and then turn around and turn that into points, which is something that, let's point out, that is something that a SAT offense wouldn't have done. We would have like tried to like throw the ball 3 times and given them the ball back, and they would have like gotten down the field and scored a touchdown or something with a SAT offense. That didn't happen. We got there. We got the field goal. Thank you, Hull, HOHL, for people who just don't know. And I mean, that was the turning point for me. That's when I said, this is a different team today. That was the point right then and there.
Yeah. So that's what I agree. I think that like, this is a team, look, Iowa has a very, very good running back. Like, but let's not get that mixed up. Let's not downplay Caleb Johnson. He is an outstanding.
No, he's fantastic. Back. I don't think he's the best back in the country, like Honky said earlier, because Boise State would like a word. But I mean, yeah.
But that being said, the team that showed up today, that played every facet, the entire game, not just a half, not 3 quarters, whatever, that team, to Honky's point, can win. That is the team we have been waiting for. That is the team. And my dad texted me. He's like, I bet you anything in the press conference, Rule says, this is the team we knew we had if they played up to their potential. I didn't listen to the presser. My phone died on the way home. I don't know. But that's right. This is the team that if they play to their potential, look, they weren't perfect. They played a dang good game, and they could beat Iowa. This is the team that needs to show up. This is a team that could win their bowl game. But the players have to want to keep building off of it. And I am with you, Honky. I think that's almost more important than the 6th win. Like, this win is great. It gets all that pressure off next week because it's like, you're not, like it or not, like, you're not having to play for something. You get to just go out and play because your first goal has now been met. And so you get to go play a little freer, in my opinion. And if Rule is doing what he says he's doing, we'll see that building onto next week. And that's what I'm really looking forward to now. I'm going to bask in this one, but know that you're right. Like, it can't just be today. And while this is really fun, we have to have this same team show up next week.
Yes, consistency, I feel like, has been the biggest issue with this team in all 3 phases of the game. Is consistency of the defense will look fantastic in a game like Rutgers, and you see them against an Indiana, and then you'll see them against, Ohio State. I think the defense for them, like, they played really well. They held Ohio State to whatever they held them to, and you see them against UCLA. They can't get off the field in the first 15 minutes of the game, right? So I feel like, for me, a big part of building is just consistency in all 3 phases of the game. And hey, like we talked about like way earlier, the field goal units coming around, like that's been pretty consistent. At least today it was anyway. And just consistency for me is just the biggest thing we need to just keep building on through next week and then into the bowl game and then obviously into next season. If this team can just be consistent in all 3 phases of the game, this team has the talent to be a very, very good football team. We just haven't seen that consistency yet.
Yeah, I think that's what drives Rule nuts too in the process. I mean, we're going to be playing a team. Iowa is probably the most consistent team in the country. They haven't changed literally in 10 years. And they've won more games than they've lost, despite having the offense that we've all made fun of for so many years, because they've had a defense that's been good enough to more than good enough to win them games, get them turnovers and everything, and special teams that have always been really special. What I'm seeing, at least here as the season has gone on, I've seen improvement in areas that we struggled earlier. I mean, field goal, you could not count on making a field goal with this team for the first half of the season. All of a sudden, I feel like if it comes down to a field goal in Iowa City for us at the last second, I feel like we have a chance to win the game because of that. That's improvement. That they're building off of something. I think you're seeing building with the run game with EJ out there just in time too, because I mean, he's a guy, you know, boy, I had big expectations the whole season for that guy. So I was really, it's frustrating for me to see it have to take till now. I go back to that 5-1 show that Mac and I did, and I broke down that at that time, midway through the season, at that point, Dowdell was averaging 12 carries a game, and Ramir and Emmett Johnson were each averaging 6 carries a game. How are you ever? You're not
crazy.
You can't build anything doing that. And so to see Emmett today getting 16 carries, and I still think that's low. I mean, my gosh, there's nothing to hold back this week. When we play Iowa, that dude, get him 25 carries, be a bell cow for a game. That guy he's a difference maker. And I've seen people that will respond and go, I like what Dowdell does between the tackles. I do too. But there's nothing that Dowdell does between the tackles that Emmett can't do too, and Emmett still can make a guy miss. And so I'm not saying just take Dowdell off the field or just bench guys. Hell, I loved what they did today with the 2-back stuff. Put 2 backs on the field. It's amazing. What a crazy concept. Get weird with your personnel packages. Put 2 tight ends on the field. Put 3 tight ends on the field. Put 2 running backs on the field. Keep growing the offense there. Keep trying some new things. I think we're in a good spot here. I like where we're going now, heading into Black Friday. I really do.
No, I really do.
First time
I
you
do
felt
as well.
that way in a long time, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. Like we kind of touched on earlier, like to me, if we wouldn't have found a way in this game, I don't see how we would have done it next week.
Agreed.
And now I feel the opposite. Now that we won this game, I actually feel pretty good. If we can come out and control the line of scrimmage like we talked about next week, like I feel really good about our chances, which is crazy how to think just how today's game would affect our confidence going into next week. But I think it's real. I think kind of getting this monkey off our back a little bit it's a big deal, getting that pressure off of, hey, we're in a bowl game. Let loose. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff now.
Absolutely. Well, it is 6:52 here in Nebraska, 5:52 in Rob's time out there in Colorado. So let's get to our parting shots. Abby, all of us want to go and watch some volleyball here. So, but we definitely want to let you get out here so you can get to it too. I'll start with you, Abby. We'll go around the room.
Let's make it a sweep. Let's just finish the weekend strong. Let's go out for those seniors on the volleyball team strong, and let's make it a real bad weekend for Wisconsin. Let's just do it. Why not? That's it. That's my parting shot. F Wisconsin.
I love it. All right, BA, man, what you got?
I think the biggest thing for me, my parting shot here is take tonight, watch this volleyball game, and just enjoy how great last night felt, how good today has felt for the football team. Hopefully we're also going to be celebrating a great volleyball win, but just remember how good this feels, because you know how some of these times we don't feel this way. Enjoy it, because no fan base has been put through hell the way we have, and just enjoy this feeling, and know that, you know, times do get better. It's going to be okay, and it's all worth it now. So just be happy and enjoy this one, and go cheer on the volleyball team tonight. Absolutely.
And while we're at it here, Redcasters, check out the BA's coaches show. Here I have his X page, Twitter page up. It's at the BA Coaches Show. So yeah, give him a follow, check him out. Thank you for joining us, BA.
Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for having me on today. Absolutely. And Rob, what you got?
Where am I booking my flights? Because I want to go to that bowl game.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know Abby prefers to go to the Orange Bowl against
the Citrus
Bowl. The Cheez-It Citrus
Bowl.
Bowl. Yes, yeah, and I don't know who we'd play there. I would prefer the Guaranteed Rate Bowl because my sister lives in Phoenix, so I'd have a free place to stay. And she actually texted me and asked if she could go to the game with me, so that's a lot of fun.
If it's in Phoenix, I have relatives there too. This could be
So I mean, we could all go to the game and we don't even have to stay in the same place, Honky. Like that sounds like a win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
We could play some golf while we're out there too.
I just want to, I guess, for my parting shot, or almost like it's like a game ball. The tweet of the week I saw, somebody had posted that John Hall made more field goals than Kalkbrenner did last night for Creighton. So, I mean, I'm like, that's.
I think I retweeted that. Yeah,
that's as good. Mic drop, whatever. That's as good as you're gonna get. So, Creighton went down, Wisconsin in football went down, and now the big one here, volleyball.
Let's go.
Get it. Let's get the sweep of
Wisconsin
for the week, for the season. So,
all right.
Get Huskers.
GBR.
I love all.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
All right, go Big Red. Now I got to find the stupid out. Here we go.
A Herd at Sports Network production.